Hi, welcome to the Average Whiskey Drinker channel. I'm your host, Brian. Today I'm going to be bringing you 5 readily available and not as expensive rye whiskeys you can find at any liquor store or grocery store that sells rye whiskeys. So the first one I'm going to bring you today is James E. Pepper Straight White Rye Whiskey. It's 100 proof, it's unfiltered, it's a 95% rye, so it's a very strong rye, with a 5% malted barley. It's aged anywhere between 3 to 4 years, and its MSRP here in Michigan is $25. Now, when I had this one's my second bottle. It had a very vibrant, full-bodied taste. Had notes of the rye spice, a little bit of chocolate, a little bit of honey, and finished with a little bit of clove on the back end. So I found this to be, honestly, for 100 proof, is a great sipper neat, or you can put it on the rocks. The next rye I'll be bringing you will be Old Forester Rye Whiskey. That's pretty much a staple in anybody's beginning rye whiskey journey. And it was with me. So this is 100 proof. The mash bill is 65% rye. So again, you get that higher rye, a 20% malted barley, and 15% corn. Here in Michigan, the MSRP on this is only $26. So it's a really good bargain for a really great 100 proof. And again, you can't go wrong. It's Old Forester. So when I had this one, again, this is my second one, you get your typical Old Forester banana note, but there was a mixture of spices, a little bit of clove, a little bit of allspice, a little trace of nutmeg on the mid palate on back. So I found it also, when I had it neat, it rounded out with some cocoa and a little bit of nuttiness. So again, you can't go wrong. It's Old Forester. The next one I have is Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Rye. Now, this is the smaller version, as at the time they did not have the larger 750 mLs. But this one's only a 94 proofer, so it's a low proof. But the rye bill is up there again. It's 70% rye, and it's got an 18% corn and 12% malted barley. Now, the larger versions of these, they run anywhere between $50 to $55 here in Michigan. With this one, I got a little bit of buttery mouthfeel with a hint of rye spice on the mid palate to the back end. It was a longer finish, more coating of the palate, and it lasted as it went back with a little bit of cinnamon and a little bit of vanilla when it hit back and just kind of coasted, like I said, on the mid palate back. For our next rye whiskey, I'm going to be getting the Wilderness Trail Settlers Select Rye Whiskey. It's a barrel proof, and it's 112 proof. Now, they also do make a regular whiskey, which is lower proof, but this is the only one that I currently had at the time. And this one here, the Settlers Rye, is 56% rye, 33% corn, and 11% malted barley. It's aged roughly on their website, it said between 3 to 4 years, and the MSRP here in Michigan is $60. This one I got an overall like a sweetness that as soon as it hit the mouth feel, it just get a little bit sweet on the back end. And then I got a lot of caramel and toasted oak that came through mid palate back. And it was, after that, the finish was like a leathery spice, but not, this is going to sound weird, not like a wet leather, like a dry leather. So for 112 proof, it's a proofy gal. The other one I have not had, and for some reason in Michigan, the last couple liquor stores that I went to. For our next rye whiskey, I'm going to be getting the Wilderness Trail Settlers Select Rye Whiskey. It's a barrel proof. Our next rye is High West Double Rye. It's a 92 proof. The age is between 2 to 7 years, so it's a blend of 2 different ones, and the undisclosed ratio is roughly 95% rye, 5% barley on the 2-year, and I think the MGP rye is 80% rye and 20% malted rye. So it's kind of vague on what it is. I went to their website and I went to breakingbourbon.com, and there's kind of a toss up between like how much is one percentage, how much is the other percentage. So, but what I got off of this was a little bit of a muted sweet vanilla, a little bit of oakiness, like a cinnamon stick coated in honey. That's kind of the best way I could say it. But on the back end, from the mid palate back, I got like a floral botanical note, not like a you're chewing on potpourri, but just like a hint in the back end. And then it finished out with a nice warm rye spice. So if you see it out there, it's really good. Also, I did on several of the other sites, and I'll link one down to mine. A lot of people are having a hard time finding a Midwinter's Night's Dram. You can take this, the Rendezvous Rye, a little bit of Tawny Port, and a little bit of Ruby Port, and I'll list it below. You can make your own. And I'd say it's about 95% close like there. So keep an eye out looking at it. I'll try to pin it to the top of the comments. And of course, I couldn't do anything without a tag along. So this is my tag along, and it's definitely going to be a Valentine Distillery Mayor Pingree rye whiskey. It's a Michigan one. There are a lot more places than Michigan, but they came here from Michigan, of course, and I have to do a Michigan one. It's 94 proof. It's made from a combination of 2 mash bills and aged for about 5 years, containing between 27 to 37% rye content. So it's a lower rye, and the MSRP here in Michigan is $50. It has on the palate, it was like a light caramel on the back end, and it rounded out the palate with a bit of rye spinach, a little bit of allspice, and a hint of clove on the back end. But with it being lower, it's more smooth and rounded. But of course, it's a Michigan rye, so I have to put it in there as my tag along. So this is again your 5 ryes with a tag along that you can readily find available in any liquor store and grocery store that sells whiskeys and liquors in your area for a very affordable price. Thanks for watching. I'm your host, Brian, and this is the Average Whiskey Drinker channel. And also remember, good whiskeys meant to be shared. Thank you.